Friends, ladies and gentlemen, at this time we are going to begin the memorial services for Hillary Egresits. We also thank you for those of you joining us via the live stream this afternoon to show your support and love for the family. Before we begin the service, just as a reminder, I would encourage you, if you have a cell phone or a pager, to please take a moment to turn it off or place it in the silent mode. And officiating this afternoon's services will be Rabbi Stephen Stark-Lowenstein from Am Shalom in Glencoe.
Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid, I have set the eternal always before me. God is at my side. I shall not be moved. Therefore does my heart exalt, my soul rejoice. My being is secure. For you will not abandon me to death, nor let your faithful one see destruction. You show me the path of life. Your presence brings fullness of joy. Enduring happiness is your gift. Death has taken our beloved Hillary. Our friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, be with them. For Hillary's love that united us in life which death cannot sever. For her companionship that we shared along life's path, which now continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of her heart and mind that brought us joy and happiness and is now a precious, precious remembrance. For all these and more, we give our thanks to God. We extend our deepest condolences to her family, to Stephan and Elizabeth, an incredible husband, and two beautiful and tall children. I'm just saying what the obituary said, but it's spot on. But more than looking up to your height, we look to all three of you as incredible role models and incredible partners with your mom, with your wife, every step along the way. The three of you, along with Hillary, shared so much. And it was just so real. It was just so genuine. It was just so honest. It was you. And that was so important to Mom. And I know that this is truly unfathomable to be here in just 3 months from diagnosis of metastatic lung cancer. And it's hard to believe that we're here, along with family, Sister Deb, parents Evelyn and Bob, cousins Helene and Janice, Bobby and Richard, Karen and Howard, in-laws Claudia and Marc, Andrea and Ray, Stephan and Gertrude, Justin and Michael, to family members, friends, neighbors, everyone who was touched by her kindness, by her goodness, by her generosity of spirit, by her love. Friends for almost every day of a life. New friends here in Chicago. Neighbors from across the hallway. A community that loves and supports all of you and will help you through this difficult time. The direct mourners in the Jewish tradition are spouses, children, siblings, and parents. And the four of you here today have a small little ribbon on your clothing. It used to be when we would hear the death of our loved ones, we would actually tear our clothes. Your mom liked fashion too much to tear your actual clothes. But we make the small little ribbon, we make a small little tear in the ribbon. And even the best seamstress, even the best craftsperson in the world, if they were hired to repair that ribbon, there would always be a mark. There would always be a spot where the tear took place, because you could never repair that ribbon completely. In many ways, your hearts will always have a tear. Tear for such a special person in all of your lives, such a special person who brought you such joy, brought you such comfort, brought such meaning to all of your lives. And so those of you who are wearing this small little ribbon, I ask that you please rise to know that there's a community next to you, around you, in front of you, behind you, that will help you through this path. For no one can walk the mourner's path alone. No one can grieve alone. And so we walk together through that path. I'm going to come forward and I'm going to make a small little tear in that ribbon to start this service. And I'm going to ask you to just tear it a little more. Don't tear the piece off, but just tear up that tear that we make to know that our hearts are torn. And we offer these words of blessing when we make this tear. Repeat after me, Baruch, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Melech ha'olam, Dayan ha'emet. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, Dayan ha'emet, the judge of truth. For this moment, we accept God's judgment. As hard as it is to accept, we accept God's judgment, and we make this tear in the ribbon. Children wear it over their heart because of that connection between parent and child. All other relatives wear it close to their heart. And so know that there's a lot of people behind you. There's a lot of people that will help you. There's people on the live stream. There's so many people that will help you walk this path to remember Hillary. You may be seated. Beautiful words of the faith community. Beautiful words of the 23rd Psalm. Remind us that we walk together through the valley of the shadow of death. And it doesn't matter what faith tradition we may be from. All faith traditions use this psalm. All faith traditions find comfort with God as our shepherd, and we lack nothing. We offer these words reminding us that we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. The psalmist 2,000 years ago could have very easily written, "Yea, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death," or that we all feel that we're in that valley of the shadow of death. But the psalmist was very clear that we go through the valley of the shadow of death, meaning that there's a before, there's this period that we go through it, and then we come out. We come out different. We come out changed. We come out a different person because someone that we loved is no longer with us physically. But we walk through that path together. Please join with me in the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. At this hour, the blessed presence of family and friends brings comfort and strength. It says to us, be sure that love, the spring of life, abides. May all who mourn take heart as they remember the goodness they've given and received. And when the days of their mourning are ended, may the memory of their loved ones, may Hillary's memory truly be a blessing. I look at these beautiful pictures of an absolutely stunning individual. Beautiful in every way. Beautiful all throughout every stage of her life. And I'm reminded of the beautiful words of Simon and Garfunkel. Time it was, and what a time it was. A time of innocence, a time of confidences. Long ago it must be, I have a photograph. Preserve your memories. They're all that's left you. We're left with such incredible memories. Whether those are memories of your entire life, whether those are memories of an amazing marriage, of as a parent, as a neighbor, as a friend, as a cousin. Memories that go all the way back to Brooklyn. Memories of family togetherness in times of celebration and times of difficulty. And we're in the business of truly preserving those memories because no one can take them. Rabbi Larry Kushner wrote a beautiful poem once. He wrote, "Each lifetime is the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. For some of us, there are more pieces. For others, the puzzle is more difficult to assemble. Some of us seem to be born with nearly a completed puzzle, and so it goes. Souls going this way and that, trying to assemble the myriad of parts. But know this, no one has within themselves all the pieces to their puzzle. Like before the days when they used to seal jigsaw puzzles in cellophane, ensuring that all the pieces were there. Everyone carries with them at least one and probably many pieces to someone else's puzzle. Sometimes you know it, sometimes you don't. And when you present your piece, which is worthless to you, to another, whether you know it or not, whether they know it or not, you are a messenger. You are an angel from God Most High." I love that poem to remind us that what makes us who we are the pieces of the puzzle that we collect and that we share with other people. We can't be anybody but the pieces that we acquire from others. And that helps us be the people that we are. And somehow, some way, every single person in this room, every person on this live stream, somehow, some way, received a piece of Hilary's puzzle. Maybe from childhood, maybe from growing up, maybe as a cousin, maybe as a relative, maybe as a friend or a neighbor. But somehow, some way, you have a piece of that puzzle. And you preserve those memories and you carry that puzzle piece with you. And you share your piece with others. And then we keep Hilary's beautiful memory alive in so many wonderful ways. In a book called God Whispers, it's written, "The true worth of a life is the story that it leaves behind." Tell that story well. Did she teach you about love? Absolutely, every day of her life. Did she personify genius or sensitivity? Did her life warn you of the danger of bitterness and anger? As I stand and behold the eyes of those who mourn, I realize that the only difference between people in this world is not their wealth, their fame, or their success. The only difference is those that had love in their life and those who did not. Hilary had love in her life from the day she came into this world in New York until her very final breath here in Chicago. She had love in her life from all of you, but especially her family. And so it's my honor to invite Janice and Bobby and Karen to come forward to begin to pay tribute to their cousin.
Sure. Hi, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I am Hilary's cousin Karen. My father and her mom were siblings. Yes, I know the family resemblance is striking. It's not apparent at first, I give you that. But see us side by side. One of my very favorite places to be. You'll see our unwavering loyal to family, wry New York senses of humor, and kindred spirits mirror one another's. Yet, as witty as Hilary and I think we are, no words I can come up with today would be an adequate tribute for our most beautiful and top-shelf cousin. So, only a poor poet laureate will do. I give you When Great Trees Fall by Maya Angelou. When great trees fall, rocks on distant hills shudder. Lions hunker down in tall grasses, and even elephants lumber after safety. When great trees fall in forests, small things recoil into silence, their senses eroded beyond fear. When great souls die, the air around us becomes light, rare, sterile. We breathe briefly. Our eyes briefly see with a hurtful clarity. Our memory, suddenly sharpened, examines, gnaws on kind words unsaid, on promised walks never taken. When great souls die, our reality bound to them takes leave of us. Our souls, dependent upon their nurture, now wizened. Our minds, formed and informed by their radiance, fall away. We are not so much maddened as reduced to the unutterable ignorance of cold, dark caves. And when great souls die after a period, peace blooms, slowly and always irregularly. Spaces fill with a kind of soothing electric vibration. Our senses, restored, never to be the same, whisper to us, they existed, they existed. We can be and be better, for they existed. Farewell and thank you, Hillary, for lifting our spirits, showing us grace, encouraging us on. Thank you for Stephen and Elizabeth and all they have to offer this world. We will love them fiercely. And thank you to you, my Hillary, for loving me. I am better, for you existed.
My name is Janice, and I'm Hillary's cousin. Our mothers were also sisters. Whenever I think of Hillary, I think of the tall, skinny little girl with her long, lanky arms and legs flailing around without a care in the world. She was always happy, silly, and never entered or left a room without going around and kissing everyone in the room. I babysat her and her sister, Debbie, and always felt like they were my little sisters. Debbie, I know in my heart that she is so happy that you are here. Hillary grew up to be a statuesque, beautiful, classy, and kind woman, and an absolutely amazing wife and mother to Steve, young Steve, and Elizabeth. I would like to dedicate my favorite poem to Hillary, Steve, Elizabeth, and Debbie. I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my sweet. I want no world, for beautiful you are, my world, my true. And it's you are whatever a moon has always meant, and whatever a sun will always sing is you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root, and the bud of the bud, and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than the soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart. We carry your heart. We carry it in our hearts.
I'm Bobby. I'm Janice's brother, Karen's cousin, Hillary's cousin, and I loved Hillary so much. In the last few years, every time we get together somewhere, Hillary would always tell me I'm the brother that she never had, which always made me feel so good. And because we grew up together, her house was our sanctuary. Because we came from a nut house. Really. My Aunt Evie, Hillary's mother, and my mother, their relationship was a little tough sometimes, but we still were always able to get away from our house to their house, and we loved it. And Evie, Uncle Bob, were wonderful to us, taking us to the zoo, to feeding us, because we didn't have any money. We didn't have snacks, anything. We always had that stuff. But Debbie and Hillary were like sisters to us. And our Nana lived there too, in that building. And we loved being with them. It was, again, like heaven. And Uncle Bob, these kids' grandfather, he had such a great heart. And that's, I think, why Hillary had such a great heart. And I was so happy when she found her soulmate, because Hillary was so sweet. And so is Stephen. Yes. And you three, anytime you get down, you come visit us and stay with us. Really. And I will get you into Disney. Okay? So, again, we're going to miss her. She should be with us right now. Because anytime we all got together, we always had Hillary there. But we'll remember her in a wonderful way.
Two of my favorite poems. I carry your heart, and when great trees fall. We can be and be better because they existed. Maya Angelou was spot on with those beautiful words. Elizabeth, it's my honor to invite you to come forward. I know that your mom's closest friend from childhood, Mona, is going to stand with you. And you can do this.
Is this tall enough for me? All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Bobby, for that riveting speech. Probably my fave. Okay. When I was 8 years old, we were coming home from vacation in Florida for Thanksgiving. Me and my mom were talking through the parking lot. My skin was slightly tanned and a bit burnt. We walked hand in hand. In the corner of my eye, I spotted the most glorious thing, the poster for Tangled. You know, that movie about Rapunzel with glowing hair, she's blonde. I begged her to take me, and she promised when we returned home, me and her would see it. I had just turned 8 years old, and we decided to see it for my birthday. Just as she promised, she took me to the theater, brought me the biggest popcorn to share, and a Slurpee bigger than my head. I held her hand when I was nervous. I pointed out the lanterns in every scene. And it should come to no surprise to anyone that as in our typical judgmental and cynical selves, that as we were leaving the theater, all we could talk about was how ugly her haircut was. And since that day, I've watched Tangled every single day on my birthday, and it always makes me feel at home. That movie was my favorite Happily Ever After. What I truly loved about it was that I got to experience it with my mom. We did everything together. It was always her and me and her. She used to say that when we went out in public that she should say really loud that she was my mom, so someone could say, "Oh, I thought you were sisters." Or she was worried that people would think we were lesbians and I would never get a boyfriend. It's true, my mom was beautiful and stunning, the type of woman that you can't help but stare at when she walks into a room. That's the first thing people always tell me. Your mother is so beautiful. But she was so much more than that. She was funny, even though me and Stephen and Dad joked that she told the exact same 5 stories over and over on rotation. She was witty, and I can't imagine a single game of trivia or Pictionary where my mom and Dad didn't absolutely crush everyone. She was kind, and not in the way mothers typically are. But she gave me so much love every day, I know I have more than enough for the rest of my lifetime. My mom was my best friend. We went on vacations together. We argued over shirts in the dressing rooms. I forced her to watch The Bachelorette with me. Sorry. And she made me wear dresses that she promised me were super cute. My parents showed me what unconditional love looked like. Everyone says they got the best parents in the world, but everyone knows I really did. They were a team, and their love for each other has formed us into the most wonderful family I could ever ask for. Thank you, Mom, for giving me my brother. I never knew that my best friend could just come so easily to me. And I know while these next few years and the rest of our lives will be hard, I'm so grateful that I have him to share this pain with. Pretty sure we all played mini golf in Florida more times than I could count. No matter where we went, we always had the best time. While she only passed a few days ago, I already miss her in ways I could never know. I miss the way she used to tie her shoes at the front of the door, how every single car ride to school, she would point out, "Oh, the lake looks so pretty, the cloud looks so pretty," like we didn't see the exact same thing every single day. I miss the smell of her Jo Malone perfume and asking for the chapstick at the very bottom of her very, very disorganized bag. I miss watching Castle on TV and hearing her heartbeat when I laid next to her. I miss her nagging us to watch My Cousin Vinny for years before we caved. I'd never actually tell her this, but it was actually a really good movie. I miss her coming home from getting her hair dyed, asking me how it looked. If you asked me again, I would say it was natural. I miss her glasses that were always broken or crooked, and I miss her smile and the way she made me feel safe. I was never afraid when I was with her, when she hugged me and told me everything was going to be okay. She was my home, and right now I've never felt more adrift in my life. But I feel myself coming back to shore when I see parts of her in everything I do. Last night I got the chance to look through her photos. These photos, while simple moments in time, capture parts of her that she never wanted to forget. I found the letters she wrote back and forth with my dad, the receipts she saved, and a million maps. These were the memories that she wanted to remember. I knew her for 18 years, but I'm still piecing together everything that made her who she was today. And a large part of that is thanks to all of you. She was Hillary to all of you, a sister, a friend, a cousin, a wife. But to me, she was my mom. She made me who I am today, and always told me I was going to take on the world by storm. And I will spend the rest of my life proving her right. Mom, you were my everything, and you still are. I wish I had more time to ask you questions, to take more photos, to hug you one last time. And someday we will meet again. But for now, I will carry your heart and soul with me until my dying breath. I love you more, most, and always. Thank you.
Amazing words. Perfect. Spot on from your heart to hers. What makes us who we are is a body and a soul. When we pray for healing in the Jewish tradition, we pray a Misha Berach prayer for healing of body and healing of spirit. Because the body and soul live with each other. Death is simply when the soul leaves the body. The only thing that will be cremated, the only thing that will be buried next to her mom in New York is a physical body. Because her soul, a huge part of her soul is right there in you and in every single person in this room. And so we pray for healing with the words on the service supplement. Mi sheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim, we praise you, God, who truly brings healing to all who are in need, and let us say, Amen. There's a twin paradox in being human. No one can live your life for you. No one can face what is yours to face, or feel what's yours to feel, and no one can make it alone. And in living our one life, we are here to love and to lose. No one knows why, it's just so. If we commit to loving, we will inevitably know loss and grief. If we try to avoid loss and grief, we will never truly love. Powerfully and mysteriously knowing both love and loss is what brings us fully and deeply into life. There's no getting over it. You'll never get over it. The key is to get under it. Loss and grief change our landscape. The terrain is forever different, and there's no new normal to return to. There's only the inner task of making a new and accurate map, like the maps that you found that your mother kept all those years. Megan Devine so wisely said, we're not here to fix our pain, but to tend to it. The true bond of love and friendship is knit by how much we can experience love and loss together. And it's love and loss that brings us here today. Hillary is, was, and will always be a ray of sunshine. She was witty, she was silly, she was the kindest person imaginable. She was simply the best. Those were your words. She was classy, very warm, loving, not conceited. She made everyone feel beautiful around her. She was selfless, thoughtful, considerate. She was a great neighbor. She dressed so simply with a black sweater and jeans and simple earrings. She carried herself well. She didn't need to accessorize. She loved glamour and fashion. She loved Sex in the City. And there was a big family debate. She was the perfect combination of Carrie and Samantha, or Samantha, maybe a little Miranda, maybe Charlotte. She was a little Kate Middleton as well. She was beautiful in every way. That was Hillary. She was sassy in a New York sassy kind of way. She was one of a kind, a Brooklyn girl, a real Brooklyn girl, who did the best that she could for as long as she could. She was a great daughter to her parents. Her mom died of lung cancer, I understand, at approximately the same age as she is today. Far too young. She attended PS 199, Hoodie Junior High, is that right? And Edward R. Murrow High School in Brooklyn. And then she took a job right out of high school, an exciting job where she was an event planner for MetLife, where she traveled the world, she lived the good life, she planned events. And when you plan events, you're bringing joy to the people around you. That's what she loved, and that's what she did. She loved her cousins, all of you who are here, so very close, your parents, the previous generation, your grandparents, and now you. I love the stories that you share, the memories that you keep for each other. You are each other's memory keepers, and I hope that you continue to do that. She met friends in elementary school, and she kept them her whole life. Mona, it's an honor to have you here and to know just how deep that friendship is, was, and will always be. And I love that she met you, Stephen, at the Crane Club, is that right? On the west side of New York City. And then it was Asia and long distance and Hong Kong and New York. High expectations, uncertain futures. But you always had a beautiful, unique, and loving relationship from the very, very beginning. And after a fairy tale proposal that took her to Europe, and there you were waiting for her. I love that the wise Northwestern grad and a street smart Brooklyn girl got married at the Yale Club in New York City in a beautiful, beautiful wedding. Soon after the wedding, Stephen arrived and a move to Chicago without friends, without family, no systems in place, no cousins surrounding her. But Stephen, you were, are, and will always be her best friend. Both Stephens. And from the moment you came into this world, young Stephen, you and your sister were her everything. She was always there, and I love that, Elizabeth, you told me that you would go on spring breaks together, and I love that she made sure that she always said she was your mom because she didn't want people to think that you were sisters. I love that. She was always eager to see each of you, to see you developed, to see you involved, to see you happy. That's what made her happy. She told those same stories over and over, but she did it with such strength, with such moxie, with such style. And Stephen, as a husband and as a Trivial Pursuit partner, you were the best because you balanced each other. You had each other's strengths. You had each other's backs, not only playing board games, but in everything that you did as a couple. You were truly there. You were book smart. Hillary was street smart. The two of you were the best parent duo, a great team, well-traveled, You worked well together. You fully enjoyed each other's company. And Stephen, as you said, she softened you up. I asked you yesterday to think of a moment, think of something that stands out, and earlier this afternoon you texted me a beautiful text. I'm trying to come up with a single moment, but it's impossible. I used to work night shifts, and even when I had a regular schedule, I was still home the majority of the day. So Hillary and I spent more time together in 22 years than most couples do in a lifetime. The problem is, a lifetime wasn't enough. We both selfishly wanted another lifetime of memories. I love those words, and I wish you could have another lifetime of memories. But you carry the memories of this lifetime with you, and no one can take those away. Simon and Garfunkel was right. We preserve our memories. As a neighbor, Jen and Adam shared that the kids went back and forth. No matter what favor you asked Hillary, the answer was always yes. She co-parented a dog. She was non-judgmental. You were real people. She was just a real person. The kindest person. She was incredibly nice. She had the most respectful marriage. A great partnership. I heard someone describe it as a magical partnership. And everyone could see that. You complemented each other. And as a family, you clicked. And it worked. And it was beautiful. It's hard to believe that just a few months ago, Elizabeth, as you were starting Northwestern and running through the arch at the start of your first semester, that she received the devastating news of stage 4 lung cancer. It's hard to believe that she was gone just after Thanksgiving. An aggressive cancer. She didn't have a chance. We measure lives not in time, but in grace, in the joy with which they live and the love that they leave behind. We measure lives in quality, not quantity. By the quality of her life, not the quantity. Stephen, you made sure that you took great care of her in the good times and in these last 2 months, in the difficult times. You were absolute partners, and you made each other better people. And consequently, you made everyone around you a little bit better. By her kindness, by her gentleness, by her sassiness, by her love. I love that her voice got higher and squeakier, like a little girl when she was excited, when she was happy, which was most of the time. I love that she always wore Jo Malone perfume, and Elizabeth, when you put your head on her chest, you could hear her heartbeat, and you knew that you were safe. She planted that seed for both of you, Stephen, and Elizabeth. She modeled an incredible path for you to follow, and we know that you will. I love that she was an unconditional friend for more than 55 years to Mona, to an amazing cousin, a wonderful neighbor, a second mom, a true friend to so many. Tonight, we light the 6th candle of Hanukkah. And there's one candle in the middle of a Hanukkah menorah that lights all the other candles. We call it the shamash, the helper candle. And you can't have a menorah without that middle candle. You can't have that menorah without the helper candle to light all the other candles. And what's really amazing is when one candle lights another, the shamash doesn't lose its light, but it just gives its light to the other candle. And an even brighter light goes forth. I kept thinking about that shamash. And I kept thinking about your mom. Because there she was, there she is, there she always will be, in the middle of that menorah. She's always the one helping. She's always the one giving. She's always the one sharing her light. She died during the holiday of Hanukkah. It's a minor Jewish holiday, but it, in American terms, has significant importance. If you ask anyone, it's their favorite Jewish holiday. But Hanukkah reminds us that it's not about might or by power, it's by spirit that Judaism continues. I think deep down inside, she knew that because she was never a religious person. But Judaism was at her core. And it seems only appropriate that every year at the time of Hanukkah, I hope and pray that all of you, all of us in this room will light Hanukkah candles. And you'll know that that shamus, that helper candle, is always there to give light to someone else. And that light continues to grow even brighter and stronger with each passing year. We measure lives not in time, but in grace, in the joy with which they live and the love that they leave behind. The very first words you said to me was that Hillary was a ray of sunshine. She was the brightest light. And so at the darkest time of year, at this darkest moment in your lives, we find that light. We share that light. The dust returns to the earth, the spirit returns to God who gave it. It's only the house of the Spirit which will be cremated. It's only the house of the Spirit which will be buried in New York. The Spirit, the light, the essence of who she is, was, and will always be, will remain with all of you. And so we rise together. On the back of the service supplement, we ask for God to watch over the soul of Hillary. El Malay Rachamim Shochein Bamromim Hamsei Minucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Ashchina Im Kedoshima Teharim Kezohar Harakia Mazhirim Et Nishmat Hillary Bat Evelyn and Bob Shahalacha Lolamo. God, full of compassion, dwelling in the heights and the depths, grant perfect rest under the wings of your presence to our loved one who has entered eternity. To Hillary, a beautiful soul inside and out, the brightest of lights, a friend, a wife, a mother, a sister, a cousin, a daughter, a relative, a neighbor, and a friend who has entered eternity. Her soul is bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us all say amen. And in the Jewish tradition, we offer a prayer called the Cottage Prayer. It's a prayer that does not talk about death, but rather reaffirms our commitment to life. We say the Kaddish in her honor and in her memory today for the very first time. At Am Shalom Congregation in Glencoe, we'll continue to say her name for the next 30 days. On Friday nights and on Mondays and Thursdays at our almost daily minyan and at Saturday, just so that her name is recited, just so her name is remembered. You're welcome to join us online or in person as we honor her memory. We will say her name on next Yom Kippur on the holiest day of the year, along with all who have died in this past year, as a way to mark these periods of mourning. The Kaddish is a beautiful prayer, reminding us that God is at the center of our lives. Some say that the Lord's Prayer and the Cottage Prayer, if you read the English translations, they're very, very similar. And so we offer the Cottage Prayer in her honor and in her memory today, making the promise that she'll never be forgotten. Together we say, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'almad divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei kol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mavarach le'olam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yiguman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleb v'yitalal shmei dekutsha brichu, La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam araba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Useh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all who are bereaved among us. And let us say, Amen. Ohoseh shalom bimromav, Uyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru yimru amen.
Friends, this concludes the services here at the chapel. The family will be together for a Shiva at the Egresits residence at 3750 North Lakeshore Drive, Unit 6E, this evening after about 5:30 this evening. The family has also requested that any memorial contributions in her memory to the Longevity Foundation, again, that information is in the service folders that you should have received when you came in. If not, we do have those for you as you leave. And for those of you joining us online, the information regarding Shiva and the memorial contributions is also available on our website. At this time, I would ask everyone to just remain in their places for just a few moments while we escort the family from the chapel. And thank you very much. Happy Hanukkah. Shabbat Shalom.
Go your way, for God has called you. Go your way. May God be with you. May your righteousness go before you, and the glory of God receive you. Hamakom yirachem etchem b'tok shar avilei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you among all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. I ask you to repeat after me these words as we say them to the mourners. May God console you. May God console you with all who mourn, with all who mourn, in Zion and in Jerusalem, in Zion and in Jerusalem. Now go forth in peace to life. Shabbat Shalom, Hanukkah Sameach, and please return to your cars.